Before I begin this video today, I want to stress the fact that I will be going in depth into the story of Equestria Girls, and major spoilers will abound. Again, I would like to encourage each of you to go and see Equestria Girls for yourselves before going any further in this video. I had a lot of fun watching this movie, and I would say that any fan of MLP will find quite a bit to enjoy as well. I do want to talk some more about my thoughts on Equestria Girls, but I would still say that you should watch the movie for yourself before going any further here. With that out of the way, let's dive a little deeper into this movie. As the movie begins, we get the sense that Twilight is still having trouble getting used to being a princess, not only from wearing her crown, but also from getting the hang of having wings. It's nice to see that the writers are addressing this issue, because there are a lot of story elements to be had with Twilight's ascension into becoming an Alicorn princess. When Sunset Shimmer arrives to steal Twilight's crown, we aren't quite sure as to where she came from or why she needs it. Later on in the movie, we learn that Sunset has actually been living in the human world for quite some time, making certain that she is in complete control of the high school she attends. This backstory for her seems a little weak, as we hear very little from Princess Celestia on why she sought for power in the first place and why she would want to actually go to the human world. As I have mentioned before, the villain in this film doesn't have much to her character, and even having Snips and Snails being her minions doesn't help. I suppose it fits well with what we know about their characters, but really, they don't do much to make the movie entertaining. After seeing them like this, I get the feeling that the writers don't really want Snips and Snails to be anything more than just bumbling minions. However, there are characters in this movie that I think might have actually turned out better than they were before. I was particularly enjoying Spike here, as he is turning out to be a great moral support for Twilight, perhaps even more so than he has been in the TV series. He shows himself to be a very capable assistant here, even with his limitations of being a dog, and he comes up with some funny lines along the way. I'm glad to see that Spike actually took a bigger role in this film, as he adds a lot to what makes this movie enjoyable. I also like seeing Twilight meeting up with each of the main six. Particularly with Fluttershy, it felt very reminiscent of the first episode, right down to the squeaking and the fascination with seeing Spike. And it was a bit of a surprise to see Angel hop out of her backpack. However, when the main six were actually fighting with each other over misunderstandings, it felt really out of character. I had a hard time believing that all of them would stay mad at each other for so long without any of them trying to talk to one another about it. But even with the weak story elements aside, I did enjoy seeing them working together, and their personalities still play so well off of one another. So there were many moments throughout the film that felt like I was watching a really good episode of MLP. Despite some other moments that seemed underdeveloped, I was really having fun. Even as humans, the group dynamic of the main six is still really strong and makes for some very entertaining scenes. I was expecting to see both Celestia and Luna in the human world, and it was a nice fit to have them as the principal and vice principal of the school. However, I don't think either of them added anything that we haven't seen from them before, and their look seems a little more awkward than the rest of the cast. When I first learned about Flash Sentry, I thought that he would just be a helping hand to Twilight here and there throughout the film and not really be anything more than a friend. He is a nice guy, and he is helpful, but he doesn't get much of a personality beyond that. Nothing that really stands out about him. He seems to exist just for Twilight to have a little crush, which seems just a little weird considering that Twilight has lived as a pony all her life and suddenly develops a little crush on a human after just a day or two. I suppose it's an okay aspect to the story, but it still felt a little weird to me. And then we have the scenes where Sunset Shimmer has achieved her goals and harnessed the power of Twilight's crown, and she ends up enslaving the other high school students in order to use them as an army to take over Equestria. Yeah, this scene seemed rather weak. And then we have the main six taking on pony features like ears, wings, and tails when the elements of harmony were powering up. And again, it seems rather weak to make them change their forms like that. I suppose I can understand them using the elements to defeat the villain, but I really didn't get why they had to become human-pony hybrids in order for the elements to work their magic. I get the feeling that this change only existed to sell more toys. It took me a while to get used to the fact that the main six were going to be multicolored humans, but I still haven't gotten used to seeing them with ears, wings, and tails. Still, despite all the issues I have with this movie, I had a lot of fun with it. The humor and the subtle references really carry this movie. The characters are still as enjoyable as they are in the TV show, and I think that this may be the best version of Spike that I have seen yet. Despite the fact that he was made into a dog, I really enjoyed his quirks and the moral support he provided for Twilight. I hope that more of this kind of Spike will show up in future seasons. So, what did you enjoy the most about Equestria Girls? Was there anything about the film that you thought was underdeveloped or just unnecessary? I would like to hear your thoughts about Equestria Girls and whether you would like to see Hasbro and DHX make any more movies about MLP. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.